Well, what do you know? We're back on the green side of things. Hey, fellow traders, it's Black Coffee Trader. It is Friday, June the 20th, and I am green today, even though this does not reflect it. The reason it does not is because yesterday's trading day and today's trading are all one day. So the better way to show you all, first of all, these top two accounts are blown. This one here had a couple dollars left, and it is blown. I just took one trade this morning on a single micro. I needed it to go immediately in my direction with no pullback, and that didn't happen. And, with a $5 drawdown, you're not going to survive. So those two accounts are gone. Excuse me. But then the rest of the other three, the three that I've got remaining, we did have a green day on those. The easier thing to do is probably going to be to just show you here. This is today per account, basically 160 across those three. So nice little green day, nothing too crazy. On the week, we're down about 600 on the top two, the ones that I've had closest to a payout. And then this bottom, this newest one, I did revert back to I've been trading it at double size, and I went back to just standard trading on that one. So we lost a lot of money on that account at the open, but got a little bit of drawdown back. That's good. 1,100 left on this account, 600 on the others. So long way to go, but it is what it is. The thing about these two is this one's almost at 50,000, but because we had it up so high, that's why the drawdown's almost gone. So it's not like we have a $3,000 or $4,000 to go to get to payout, but still, I just need to save the drawdown and push him back up. So one big change that I made, if you followed along, one of the things that I did in the last week or so, if you look at TradeZella, so the last week or so, I have switched to my ATM strategy where I've got taking everything off at one spot. So basically, I'm trying to get to 180. If I was risking 150, risking 25 points, my profit target was, I think, around 37 points or something like that. And I was taking it all off, maybe 30 points. I forget what it was. But anyway, the point here is that does not work for me. It absolutely does not work for me. What I find myself doing is I will get into a trade and say my entry is here at this purple line and my profit target is here. I will get into the trade and it starts to stall. I will do one of two things. I will either get out early and not get the full move, or I will not get out at all and let it come all the way back and either stop me out break even or stop me out entirely. I can't do it. I cannot do that. I have to have a scaling model. So I've switched my ATMs to where, for example, if I'm getting in here, I'm taking one contract off at 18 3/4 points, the other contract off at what's the other one? 35 3/4 points for 180. And what it allows me to do is I can usually get to that first profit target, and then I can reassess. I'm not going to lose on the trade at that point. And I don't know. It's just something with my mentality, my psyche, that's the way I have to do it. So I did switch back, and I just looking back over some of the trades that I took and just pondering that some of those big losing days, there were some trades in there that I would have had some profits had I had this ATM. So it's just a weakness that I have on I need to be able to scale in and out of trades, I guess. It's just something that works way better for me. So anyway, today, let's look at TradeZella. Again, we were just there, but 483, not a great big green day, but I've only got 3 accounts. So we're not going to put up many big numbers. 70% win rate, which was good. Average winner was a little bit lower than the average loser. I did have one big losing trade, and the rest of them I might have had one reversal for a few bucks, but anyway, let's dive into the trades themselves, and we'll just kind of walk through it. So today, the first trade, this was where I blew that account, that last funded account, $2. But this one here was a long on the NASDAQ. I really like this setup. I was looking for, this was part of my game plan, is if we break the high of day from Wednesday to look for a long. We did have that, and it was just a fake out. Nothing no big deal. Just breaking retest of Wednesday's high of day, faked out and failed. So that is what it is. You're going to have those, and I wasn't too stressed about it. And then we ran into just a string of profitable trades. This one here was a break and retest short on the Russell of 2134. You can, whoops, this is the wrong one. Here we go. Sorry about that. Break and retest of 2140. Other markets were selling. Everything was selling. Beautiful break and retest. Had to sit through a good bit of consolidation out with some profit after the first target was hit. And again, you can see my profit targets there. This was so cleanly holding, and the way this was wicking, I actually, as soon as I entered, this candle was actually wicked down, or wicked, and it looked perfect. And as soon as I entered, this thing built back up. So I had to sit through some drawdown. We came all the way up here, nearly stopped me out, and finally got out. But I really should have almost held. I'll show you this trade. This really was at the spot where, this was the NASDAQ trade, by the way. That was the only trade I took on the NASDAQ. And then Russell, this was that entry. So I entered that trade here, had to sit through all this. We chopped around. I finally, my first profit target hit here, and then I just killed the trade after this pullback because I did not want to see this thing go all the way back up. And again, that is a weakness, but had I held, we would not have gotten stopped out. I would have gone back into drawdown. But this, where I drew this arrow, this really was my trade of the day. And I saw it. Because I had just gotten out of this trade, and I saw that, and I thought, man, I should take this thing short, and I just didn't do it. I hesitated. I'm also, it's the other thing I've done in the last couple of weeks is I've caught myself hesitating too much when I see something. There was a trade today, and I forget where it was at, that I looked at, and I thought, man, I should short this, and I didn't. And within 30 seconds, the thing absolutely tanked. So I missed this entry. I did jump in here. This was on the third trade of the day. And another caught the first target. And then we started to pull back, and I just killed the trade, and we ended up chopping around. And really that would have eventually bled lower and lower. But the market conditions, the price action today was just, it was ugly. It was pretty ugly, and we've just had an ugly market, but it's been difficult to hold through some of those trades. But again, that ATM strategy where I've got at least one profit target, within relatively, 20 points, it varies. I'm basically trying to get out with about 25%. So that's just, it just works better for me, and it doesn't make it right, it doesn't make it better, it doesn't make it worse or wrong. It's just, that's what works for me. I have to see it that way. So those were the two trades I took on the Russell, and then I think I took the last one, might have been an ES trade. This one right here, yeah, I think this was an ES trade, and this was a very aggressive trade. So again, here the market was selling off, break and retest of Wednesday's low of day, and I did not wait for confirmation. Very aggressive entry. I had a really tight stop. I immediately moved my stop like really, really tightly. Got a little bit of a flush, and then we started stalling once again. I didn't like it, killed it, had a little bit of profit, but I could have got out of there with a little bit more had I been a little more patient. Let's go to the ES. Oh, this was, I missed this trade. Sorry. We had a really good trade here and I missed. That was this one right here. I got out of that one right here, and we started chopping around. So I would have gotten stopped out. That was really a good thing. I just killed that. But let's go back to this one. This was a really, really good entry. Break and retest long off the high of day or low of day from Wednesday. And that ended up being the best trade of the day, and probably one of the better trades that I've had in a while. This one was just got to the first profit target. We started being sluggish, and I just started trailing my stop, and I finally got out. And this is actually a reversal entry. It stopped me out, but then it reversed. I immediately got back out. But in any case, didn't quite get to my second profit target, which was somewhere up here, but really ended up being a pretty good trade. I think this was like 130, if I remember right. If I can get to the right screen here. Let's go back to these trades. That was this one here. Yeah, I missed that one. I'm sorry. break and retest of Wednesday's low of day. NQ was pushing off 21,850 pretty strongly. First target hit, then started being sluggish, so I trailed my stop, best trade in a few days. So you can see the entry. I was really patient on this one, and I was actually too patient. I really should have entered here before this candle pushed back up, and I would have gotten my full profit target, three contracts off here and 2 contracts off here, and I would have been out with a $180 trade instead of being at 140. But still, it was a really good trade, and really quite happy with it. So anyway, good to be green. It really feels good to bounce back. I really did not want to have 2 red days back to back and, you know, turning into something pretty nasty. So anyway, that's the goal, is just to build these 3 accounts that I've got, and I'm probably just going to wait for a really good sale on Apex. I did buy a take profit eval, so I'm going to try to work on passing it next week. Need to trade it for 5 days, but I'm going to try to pass it next week and see what we can do. So anyway, that's that. And as far as the market goes, you know, we are just still in this range. I mean, we have fallen to some of these low areas where this thing could really start to break down, but by the same token, we're holding on the daily 20 on the NASDAQ. We're holding on the daily 20 on ES. So, you know, maybe this is just something that's going to hold and push. If you look at the daily chart, look at the daily 20 on the NASDAQ. Daily 20 sitting here, and it's just been following, or the NASDAQ's just been holding, or that has been holding up the NASDAQ almost, it seems like. Today we've kind of chopped through it, and we've had other times we've chopped through it, but you know, maybe the bulls are going to take charge here eventually. I think the jury's still out, but anyway, we'll try to be back at it on Monday, and hopefully next week we can have a good week and stay out of some of these big red days. I really feel a lot more confident with this ATM. I know that sounds a little bit simplified, but having an ATM like this, it's just way better for my psyche. I need to be able to get into something,
order submitted,
and have a couple of profit targets to hit, rather than sitting and waiting for one big target and then not getting there, and I get cold feet, I get fear of missing out, I get fear of loss, and I'll either make some really bad decisions in one way or the other. So anyway, that was a good takeaway for me, and happy to bounce back on a green day. All right, I'll leave you with that. Have a great weekend, and be back next week. Let's have a good week. Take care, and so long.